Well, welcome to Up on the Bars discussion on a Thursday night. We're live for everybody that's been on me for months. To get this gentleman on here. We have the one, the only, the Herminator, the Herman Munster, Kenny Wallace. Welcome to the show, Kenny.
Well, hey, I'm laughing because when you said Herman the Munster, that reminds me when I was a kid. Okay, now I'm in St. Louis, Missouri right now, Arnold, Missouri, about 17 miles south of St. Louis. But anyway, it's been cloudy and rainy all the time, and I look out there and I'd say, lightning, clouds, and I'd say it's a beautiful day, said Herman Munster. Because when I was a kid, the cartoon, the old grandpa, he'd go, "It's a beautiful day outside," and there'd be thunder and lightning. And
Hey, and who didn't see your first hot rod on that show when you were a kid? They had
right.
I'm just saying, it all goes hand in hand with all of us. So first of all, I can't thank you enough for hopping on here tonight. This came about through somebody that we mutually know, actually two people that we mutually know, Tony Nassetti at the Stockton Dirt Track and Ed Renzi.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your relationship with both of those, because I know both of them kind of got us together. So,
well, just in passing with Tony at Stockton, I got asked to come out there, and I, wanted to see it, wanted to try it, and legendary name, and went out there and run second in the, super late model race and beating the hell out of each other. But I'll tell you what now. So that was a lot of fun. And then Ed Renzi. It's like I told you earlier, Ed Renzi is a hidden gem. I mean, he was the president and CEO of McDonald's hamburgers, and very powerful man, but one of us. You can turn on Fox Business Channel at any time, and Ed's being interviewed on there all the time, but he was a NASCAR car owner, and I drove his car. It was sponsored by Snacks. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Ed Renzi.
Ed Renzi, yeah. So Ed's a legend, and we've maintained contact all these years. And so, yeah, that's just, in passing, I call it networking. I teach any young kid around me, I say, you network, meet people, don't be shy. And yeah, I've networked my whole life and say hi to people and write phone numbers down and maintain my friendship with Ed Renzi forever.
Yeah, Ed is a funny guy, and I know you've talked to him when he's not in a private. One of the funniest people you'll ever sit down and talk to. So we already got a ton of comments. Larry Baker says, if Schrader can do it, Wallace can do it. Come to the Pacific Northwest. So I've got you from Oregon. So
yeah. I raced in Alaska last year, and my son-in-law, Brody Pompey, he, married my youngest daughter. He's from up there in Oregon, but
Grants Pass right over the hill. I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Really, I'll be darned. Well, so then Brody is a great race car driver. He decided to slow down for a little bit, and he's selling life insurance. And but I've raced in Calgary, but I've been out that way a little bit, not a lot.
Yep. So yeah, that's the biggest thing is World of Outlaws coming to Knoxville this weekend since they can't have it here. That's from Brad Winkler. Wish we had more people like Kenny Wallace in racing. It's blowing up.
That's right.
Then somebody goes, Chaz looks terrible. Yes, I am going live on Chaz's page. We're friends. So yes, I look terrible. Sorry. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for looking in. So Angela Brown. Hey, Roy, love this show. So I want to get into some deep subjects here with NASCAR because we got you here for a little bit and I want to get it. We talked a little bit off air and we're going to throw this one out there right off the bat. Kyle Larson comes from this area out here. Phenomenal talent on dirt. Goes into NASCAR. Can't argue with the success he had last year. What are your thoughts on what Kyle does with NASCAR and the dirt racing, and do you think it brings a lot of crossover fans between the genres, or what do you think of that?
Listen, here's the way I really feel about it, Roy. I'm not the jealous type. Okay. I wanted to be Jeff Gordon. And when I realized I was not going to be Jeff Gordon, it was a crushing blow. It took me years to get over it. Now I'm 58 years old, and I'm here to tell any man out there that wants to blame anything on any other competitor. Oh, he's got this, he's got that. If I had this and I had that, I've heard it all. But I'm here to disappoint a lot of people, and I'm sorry. But Kyle Larson is a gift from God. That kid is unbelievably talented. I've raced him. I've never seen anything like it. He is the greatest race car driver in the history of life. He's better than A.J. Foyt. He's better than Mario Andretti. I have never, ever seen anything like this. And what he's doing for dirt racing is over the top. The numbers don't lie. 2 weeks ago, he was on Flow Racing, and they were down there in Georgia, and it was the highest rated Flow dirt race in history. It was standing room only, the biggest crowd ever. Just when you think no way, I'm telling you, way. Kyle Larson is the real deal. He'll get in any damn race car there is, sprint car, midget, go-kart. I've watched him get in anything. And that's why I'm telling you, when I was young, there was nobody better than me. I'm the greatest. If I just had what you had, but I got over that quickly. Because if you want to run good, you got to work on yourself. You got to quit blaming everybody. Kyle Larson is the real deal. I know. I'm friends with him. I raced him. He's phenomenal.
And I listened to your podcast of your questions about your top 5 drivers. I know exactly what your top 5 drivers are. Your bottom 2, not going to get in because I don't follow them. But your top 3, I'm with you. Somebody on here, Jerry Mijo Quintana, he's a crew chief for one of our guys that races with us. Says, "Quit it, Kenny. We all know you have that NASCAR money."
So let me tell you where that started. So I've always been like I'm not a real good race car driver. I really am not. My wife doesn't like me to say that, but what I am good is at getting my cars handled. I grew up in the shop with my head in the carburetor. And one thing my brother Rusty Wallace taught me, he said, Herman, he says, talent this, talent that. It's the person that has the fastest race car that's going to win the races. I've talked to people that own horses, right? And, right. The jockey can only whip that horse's ass so much. And it was the great Dale Sr. that said, Herman, you have to have a good horse to ride. So early in my life, I learned that I got to have a good horse to ride. So if I win, it's because I got a good race car. My talent level is about a C minus. Now, how the hell I ever won 9 Xfinity races, and I've got some decent stats, but I'm not a great one, but I'm on my 96th dirt win all over the United States. It's because my car's handled good. I work on my race car.
So you set fast time Friday night. You won it quickly on Sunday. So see, there you go. Just what you were saying.
Still setting new track. Hey, listen to this. That's funny you brought that up. Here I am going to be 59 in August. Last year set a new track record at Lincoln. And, Flo is going to be at Lincoln on Thursday night. Lincoln, Illinois, Central Illinois. And set a new track record. I set a new track record there last year. The year before that, I set a new track record at Macon. And just last week, I set a new track record at Farmer City. Now, these are famous dirt tracks. And people say, what's the deal with you qualifying so quick all the time? I said, but that's simple. The reason I set track records is because I've run for my life in this NASCAR Cup Series. Buddy, you had to qualify, and you had to cheat. You had to cheat death. You got on the gas when your car was not ready to go. And but so that's what that's all about. I run scared.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about Junior before we came on here. His story when he was on there with I want to say it was Kirk Shelmerdine, talking about being at Talladega and his dad telling him, you got to have that car wound up all the time. He said, I'm cruising through the pits with it wide open, doing all that because I thought I had to. And he said that was the scariest thing in the world, driving off into the corner at Talladega wide open and never lifting. But he said, I didn't know any better. My dad told me you can't lift, so I didn't lift.
Yeah. And there's an art to that. So, I learned from the best. And, back in the, years ago, say 25 years ago, we used to put, like, when we go to Daytona, Talladega, that was the truth because we didn't run in packs back then. If you watch it, when you look at the early 80s, when we ran Daytona, Talladega, we was all single file. We didn't dare race each other because we had 10-degree spoilers. We were so loose back then that you couldn't race each other. Well, nowadays, we're 2 and 3 wide every lap, and the fans are still pissed that we're not doing something right. I'm like, if you don't think this racing is good, go back in the 70s and 80s. But here's the bottom line with keeping a car wound up. Back in the day, we'd run, very minimal rotating weight. So we had little bitty thin rotors. Mm-hmm. Well, once we started realizing when they came out with the restrictor plate, you'd run a 750 carburetor back then, the holes be big. Then they put them restrictor plates on, they choke it down. Well, we found out if you let off the gas, the motor would never recover. So what we had to do, Roy, was we had to put big, thick rotors on. And what we do is we'd let off the gas, say 90%, and drag the brake to not run over to somebody. That way we keep sucking air in the carburetor. Because if you dare let out of the gas, it'd go, take forever to catch back up, and you was done. So there was definitely a change in driving style at Daytona and Talladega because of that.
Well, and I'm sure you're doing the same thing in your dirt car now with the drag brakes and all that stuff too. Everybody's trail braking to keep the 4 bars up now too. So
it's kind of hard to do.
Yep.
It's hard to do. Get a little, I'm better at it. We won Sunday night because I thought I did a good job at it. For me, I work on my left rear shock a lot to help me so I don't dump back down. And then when I got to be careful to don't drag the brake too early. I got to get that bend, then start dragging it. Yeah. So I'll tell you, Terry Phillips said something to me. I'm here in St. Louis and they're 3 hours up the road in Springfield. His dad, the great Larry Phillips, but Larry's gone now. But Terry said something to me. We grew up as children together. I went asphalt, he went dirt. But Terry said something to me about 15 years ago. I'll never forget. He said, Herman, he said, there's good drivers, good dirt racers, and great ones. The great ones can drag that brake really good. But with these brake pads now, you can really see a Bloomquist or those guys, 8 years ago, you can really see them doing it,
Yeah, with the new hot pads, you go with that quarter to spark going out of there. It's broken there. It's like, oh shit. The first time I saw it, I thought, man, they're broken. They're broken. Every lap's like, nope, apparently that's what they're supposed to do. Then somebody explained to me what they are. You just have to buy rotors about 4 times a season.
I joke about that a little bit. I say, Bloomer really ain't dragging the brake. He's just got little sparks down there making you think he is.
So I've got to go into a story real quick because I have a person in here, Jerry Stewart. I'm bringing up this story just for you. That way he can tell you from his personal experience, change your wheel studs and change them often.
No kidding, boy. So I'm new into dirt racing and I'm running NASCAR and I'm making that NASCAR money and I wanted to learn how to run dirt. So, we're buying these winter hubs, right. And I didn't know that they had the studs made in China. And all of a sudden I'm up in Quincy, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. And I had a tough time getting by a guy named Dave Weedholder. He's a good racer. But I had the sliding going into one, but there's a nasty curb up there. I hit that curb and I got the second. And I tried running down Michael Long, which is another great racer. And I couldn't catch him. So I said, okay, I'm gonna settle for second and start driving on the right front because the track was real volatile that night. All of a sudden, I come off of turn 2 and I get down the back straightaway. And I started flipping. Like, I got pictures of it. I flipped like 5 times.
Dude.
Well, because I had a mud plug on the right rear, flip, it's complete drama, destroy the car, get back. We start looking at all our equipment. Because of that mud plug, the studs were still in between the wheel and the mud plug. And it broke the head of each one of those damn studs made in damn China. And I said, never again. Well, my buddy Nick Hoffman that builds my elite cars, he watched that video that I made, and now we don't run Winners hubs on the right rear. We run Mike Mittler hubs, but they probably got better studs now. But you're right. That destroyed cost me a lot of money, man.
Well, and the reason why I brought it up, Jerry Stewart, big late model driver down out of the Bakersfield area, he races pro stocks with us. Last year at the Bud Nationals, thrashed on his car for 2 weeks, got it all together, put his wheels on there, and he said, when you put them on the gun, they seem tight. Then you get out there, and there was some play in it, and he lost his wheel going down there and tore it. Same thing. He didn't flip it, but he tore it all exactly the same. I said, you follow Kenny Wallace, and you didn't see that. Come on. So it is. Crew chief says, again with the wheel studs, still too soon.
so yeah. But let me tell you, when I was in NASCAR, my very first year, they make you do a rookie class every morning. So they might have somebody back then. It was like, I think Harry Gant. So Harry Gant's job, and I don't know how NASCAR picked him, but I'm a rookie in the Busch series back then, which is now Xfinity. But anyway, they taught us back then, every time we got into a NASCAR race car, our job as a driver. Now, it was hard on me because I come from St. Louis where we built our own race cars. Once I made it to NASCAR, they said, you're the driver. I'm like, damn. Well, who makes my car good? He's called the crew chief. I'm like, wow, what a bonus. All right. So my job as a driver was to say, are my lug nuts tight and hood pins in? Because every time car going track, hood fly up because, and smash the window because those crew members would forget to put the hood pins in. But when I run my dirt car, we got a cheap old torque wrench. We set that thing on 70. Some people set it on 75, 80, whatever it is. 70 works for us. And we got 12 1 foot extension. And my boys are trained. And I don't get in that race car unless all 4 tires and wheels are click, 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 click because of that.
Right. And that's now you've raced at UMPs and all this stuff. And I'm sure you've heard of Kelly Shryock.
Good friend of mine. I raced a lot of USMTS.
All right. So I went to Race Logic Chassis School 3 years ago. Brian Littleton puts on a great show. Kelly Shryock taught that class. The first 30 minutes of that class, I learned I didn't do a damn thing right on my car. Nothing. You learn that you think you know something, you don't know nothing. And that's one of the things they taught in that class was that just what you're saying, the simple little things. And they start with the front bumper and they go to the rear bumper and say, you need to check this. It needs to be this. It needs to be this. It was like, holy crap. The light comes on. It's like, wow, I have been doing this all this time. No wonder I'm running 12th all the time.
Things evolve and things change. That's why we're never the smartest. It's hard to know it all because it wasn't so many years ago we're running leaf springs.
Still are.
Well, I mean, in 1982, my brother Mike ran a single leaf, a CJ Raymond car, single leaf, and a coil. Well, I mean, now look at what we're doing. I mean, 4 bars, watts, linkages. So, things change. But let me tell you what Kelly Shryock taught me. I mean, we're dear friends. We talk probably 5 times a year. Right. But last time I talked to Kelly was making sure he was recovering from COVID. It about killed him. But Kelly taught me this, and I know right where he taught me it. We were going in the pit gate at Marshalltown, Iowa. And he said, Herman, when your dirt car starts running bad, it's one of the 3 B's. And I said, what's that? Kelly said, if your car goes bad, it's something's broke, something's bent, or something's bound up. And every single time, Kelly Shyrock has been right. And what you do is you put that car on jack stands and immediately take everything off and make sure everything's running up and down. And Kelly's always been right.
Yep. And that's what that chassis school taught us more than that. And you learn so much. I mean, when I went there, everybody's like, well, what's your ride heights? What are ride heights? I have no clue. What are you talking about? They're like, how can you set your car up if you don't know what your ride heights are? It's like, well, I don't know what ride heights are. So we had to go start from the very basic. And it's like, things get better quickly when you start doing the little things that you need to be doing.
It's not, see, so many people try to take shortcuts in life. So I grew up poor, way under middle class, but because I made it, the NASCAR money thing. Well, Wallace got that NASCAR money. I do. I do got a lot of money, and I am wealthy now, but I worked my ass off to get where I'm at. And what I find is dirt racers are always looking to blame something. It ain't me. Hell, if I had what Jimmy Johnson had, I'd win 7 championships too. They never want to work on themselves. And what I learned is that something my brother Rusty taught me. He'd say, damn.
We lost your sound there, Kenny.
That was Austin. But anyway, get your head in the carburetor. And I spend all the time, my car goes on jack stands every week. We grease the front end, shocks and springs come off, check the air pressure in the shocks, check my loads. Spend some money on a spring smasher, because we don't do ride heights anymore. But yeah, you got to work. You can't get lucky and win. You got to be good and win.
It says Rut Racing Rutledge. My favorite Kenny saying is race what you can afford. There's a ton of comments on here where there's no way we can catch up with all of them.
Well, the people that are honest with themselves, we got a lot of jealous people in life. And I could run a super late mile if I had money. Well, you know what? You don't. You don't. So don't be jealous. Run what you can afford. And whatever you run, don't bitch about money. Because as soon as you complain about money, it ruins the whole thing. It's a sport. Listen, Roy, they jump on me all the time. Wallace, with all that NASCAR money, how come you don't run a super late model? I'm like, they're too expensive for me. And listen, I did it one time. And I won the Prelude to the Dream, and I won down there at Cleveland, Tennessee. I outrun all of them guys. But I said, whoa. I told CJ Rayburn, I said, take this damn car back. If I'm going to run a super late mile, I'll go run the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Same thing. I talked to Jonathan Davenport about a month ago. I said, JD, I need to de-bullshit something. How much are you all paying for them Durham Ford motors? I said, you paying $60,000? He goes, 58. I said, you got to be kidding me. Are you kidding me? You're spending $60,000 on a dirt super late model motor. That's insane. So I got a lot of money. I'm gonna keep it that way. It's a hobby. You don't make money running a dirt car. And these people that go, how much it pay to win? I'm like, really? So you want to know how much it pays to win before you go? Schrader taught me this. Always ask what 10th pays.
And I had a promoter just this last week. I had a talk with somebody, and he says, I don't understand. They always ask. They said they need to be, same thing you said. Just if you're going to run top 5, ask what 5 is running, what they're paying. Then you know kind of what you're doing. And, that is one of those sore subjects. And Tony, I've got to deal with him a lot this year. We're doing that show that he's running on the Fox network down in Sacramento. We're doing all that show for him and all that stuff. And he says, you know what? Everybody needs to get over all this stuff. We're here to have fun. If you're not having fun, just don't come. That's it. Just don't come.
Because I'm getting older, I get more aggravated with people that are. I want. You know what? Me and you are old, so I'm just going to say it the way it is. Back in my day, you'd call the word ignorant sounds mean, but ignorant means you don't know. So if you look at the dictionary and it says ignorant, it's such a nasty word. But the word ignorant means you don't know in seriousness. So the word ignorant is in the dictionary. Dumb. Dumb means you don't know. These people truly don't know. They really think they're going to build a race car and they're going to ask, what's it pay to win? Well, then don't race.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. We talked about me rodeoing and all that other stuff. If you ask me right now what winning a bull riding paid, I couldn't tell you. I never won one.
It's a hobby.
Sorry, it was fun.
Now I know people that make a lot of money on bull semen. So they can get the other bull pregnant. There's more money. There's more money in bull semen than there is in anything. I mean, those guys are wealthy.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, the first time I saw NASCAR cars or watched NASCAR racing in my adult life, I went to a rodeo in Hickory, North Carolina. Didn't know what NASCAR was. Had a friend that lived in Hickory, North Carolina. We went to the rodeo Saturday night. I got harassed to no end because I got hung up, stomped on, and they made fun of me and all that stuff. Then the next day we watched NASCAR and everybody shut down everything. We watched NASCAR. It's like
it's religion.
And then you start going through, we rodeoed all over Rutherford, North Carolina, all over North Carolina. Everybody has a NASCAR style car in their damn driveway.
I want to show you something, Roy. Working on my backdrop here, I'm real lucky right now. We're talking about money, right?
Right.
I got these pictures here. This is just a coincidence. I want to show you this. See that?
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Speedway.
Yep. There's Rusty right there. Look at that. That's Rusty. My brother Mike. That's me. We didn't have a pot to piss in, and most wealthy people never had anything either. That's why it's so damn aggravating when you hear dumb people talk. Because people that have made money. They've been through it all. They've seen the movie. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear all the complaining. I can look at you. I can tell you're a working man. Yep. I can tell you're a working man. You work hard for your money. It's very aggravating when people make excuses for their failures. Just admit it. I do it. I condemn myself all the time to maybe make people understand. When I was young, I was hard on myself, But like I said earlier, when I realized that Jeff Gordon was better than me and Kyle Larson, it was a crushing blow to my ego because I'm the man. Nobody better than me. I'm a gladiator. But it's easier.
We talk a little bit about your brother. I listened to him on Junior's podcast, and he said almost exactly the same thing. He said, it pissed me off when Jeff Gordon come into NASCAR.
Absolutely. Because Rusty's the greatest.
Who the hell are you? You're not in it. He said, it pissed me off. And
most men are like that, Roy. That's why all these dirt racers, they bitch and moan 24/7 because we all the same. But I can help people. If you just focus on your race car, do what you're capable of doing. Yep. Instead of getting on Facebook going, well, if I have this and I have that, well, you don't. So move on or run a sports car, a modified, or run what you can afford and win in that series.
Yeah. They're telling you, Kenny, tell it like it is. I got a whole list of these comments going
I get pissed. Sorry.
No, that's nothing wrong with it. That's lovely discussion. Yeah.
Slow down. That's my Jake brake.
I drive an automatic big truck. It has Jakes, but you can't hear them. You just hear a little. That's all you hear.
They cleaned everything up too much, man.
Yeah. So I had Jeremy Mayfield on here several months ago. Had a nice visit with him. I started to ask him a question and we got sidetracked. So I'm going to ask you because I know you've been there one time at least and can tell us. When you hear you got called to the NASCAR hauler.
Yep.
What is that? And what happens when you go in there?
So
I've always been curious.
I got a horrible story. So in my mind, our shop is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
And the truck and trailer leave one end of the United States of America and go all the way to Phoenix. Now that truck and trailer go all the way across the United States. So they dropped a green flag in this NASCAR Cup race. at the old Phoenix. Well, I'm underneath John Andretti, and we're going through that dog leg back straightaway, and I'm underneath of him. Well, we go into 3, he comes down, hits my fender on my tire, starts smoking only when I get in the corner. Going down the straightaway, nothing wrong, get in the corner. Shh. They're black flagging me. NASCAR's black flagging me. And I'm a kid. I'm, 32, 35 years old. And I'm devastated. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to ruin my race. Let me blow a tire out. Let me blow my tire out. Let me hit my wall. But don't tell me to pit. And I finally had to pit. So the race gets over, and my crew member comes running to me, and he goes, NASCAR said they want to see you at the trailer. I looked at him. I said, you tell NASCAR you never saw me. And wow. Buddy, it was brutal. They fined me $10,000. And when I got to the private airport, it was like God was sending the message to me. I ran into Bill France Jr. There's Big Bill that started it. Then there's
Right.
Bill. I ran into him. And he looked at me and he said, boy, you're in trouble. And my heart started pounding. And so Mike Helton calls me up, and he was screaming at me. When we told Dale Earnhardt Sr., when we black flagged him at Rockingham, we told him to pit. What'd he do? I said he pitted. So, man, they made it rough on me. So called me back and said, well, we've looked at him. It'd be an $8,000 fine. My hand was shaking. I had to write a check for $8,000 for not listening to NASCAR and also for not going to the trailer. And they were thinking about not letting me race. The next race which was Miami Homestead. Since then, myself and Mike Helton have become the best of friends. Mike Helton calls me every Christmas morning. Herman, want to wish you Merry Christmas. All right,
That's
Mike.
very cool.
So, yeah. Hey, listen. Here's the deal. NASCAR's good to you as long as you do what they say to do. It's got to be governed. It's got to be rules. It can't be none of this short track stuff. Where you go to the short track and everybody starts hollering at the owner. You did that in NASCAR, you'd be kicked out. So it's funny to listen to all these people bitch and moan about a local short track. Try it in NASCAR, see what happens. They won't let you race. So you don't want to go to the trailer in NASCAR.
All right. So we talked about your first pick of Kyle Larson on your list of 5 drivers you'd want if you started a team. I want to talk about your second pick, which is another Kyle.
Yeah.
Talk about him often on this show. Extremely talented driver. No period.
Right.
No question about it.
Right.
When you see him doing interviews in things, especially if he's having a bad day, the biggest dick you can ever listen to.
Right.
Then you see other things that he does. If you watch his videos where they just randomly walk up to people, amazing ambassador to the sport.
Right.
That story of the guy the veteran sending a Purple Heart, that'll bring tears to your eyes when you listen to that story. How do you tell Kyle Busch, stop being such a douche because you're an awesome person? Because he doesn't listen.
So I'm into psychology, right?
Right.
Listen, Dale Earnhardt was good because he had a strong mind, right? You can't be weak. People that are weak, they judge people by interviews on TV. So there are people that are competitive. There's people that are not competitive. And there's people that lose their mother and mind. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here, I'm going to tell you something I know about them Busch boys. They are the best teammates that you could ever have.
Yep. But
the problem with those Busch boys, and this is a compliment, their mom and dad never beat their ass.
Yep.
So if you grow up getting your ass beat, you learn to just simmer down a little bit. So I know them Busch boys. I know Kurt and I know Kyle. When you're with them, they're awesome. It's only when that TV interviews them after a difficult time. So listen, I get it. Everybody wants that perfect role model. Well, guess what? They ain't. And then Jimmy Johnson, right? Jimmy Johnson's perfect, and then they hate him. I mean, stop and think about it. I'm into psychology. So we don't like Kyle Busch because he doesn't give good interviews when things go bad.
Right.
But on the other hand, we don't like Jimmy Johnson either because he's too boring. All he does is win 7 championships, and he's right there as good as Earnhardt. Sorry, but even Dale Jr. tell you that. So what do you want? You want the perfect person. Oh, you want the perfect person. I'm not into that because I'm flawed. I'm flawed. I have been in airplanes. I left Charlotte, North Carolina, and I flew to the Fandango at Texas Motor Speedway. Me, Kyle Petty, and Kurt Busch, greatest people to ever want to be around. Don't go in the garage area with them at a NASCAR race. Yep. Stay away. When they go into war, listen, people say, Herman, when you go to the racetrack, you're different. I'm like, when I get through that pit gate, I'm not me. We're going, so there's 2 or 3 of me. And each position requires something different. So people, I hear it all the time. Oh, come on, Herman, they're dickheads. I'm like, when something goes bad and they interview them, yeah. But follow them on Instagram. If you want to know about Kyle Busch, follow Kyle Busch on Instagram.
I'm telling you, the stories in the backgrounds where they go to like a flea market and they see somebody in a NASCAR jacket and they just walk up and start talking. That's the coolest stuff ever. I love it. And I recently met somebody at the racetrack, drives a sprint car. Great, whatever you want to say, great Brad Sweet.
Yep, good kid.
I met Brad Sweet at Reno at the Race Promoters Workshop. Just like you said, there is 2 different Brad Sweets. Brad Sweet at Reno at the Race Promoters Workshop. Coolest person in the world to hang out with. Couldn't stop drinking beer with him. He wouldn't let you. What I'm saying, you meet him at the racetrack on race day, not super friendly. So
the biggest issue I have with me being me is I do love life and I am happy, but there have been times that I've wrecked out in a dirt race. I mean, wrecked out. My shit's junked, destroyed, and a fan comes up laughing at me. Hey, Kenny, hey, can I have your door off the side of your car? I want to punch them right in the mouth because they're not smart enough to realize that. I mean, my dirt car cost me, I paid $25,000 for my motor and, $40,000 for my dirt car.
Yep.
I mean, I got 70, 80 grand in these cars. We all do. And, I forgive the people because I'm the one that puts that persona out there. But it's only like right now. When we go in that pit area, and if you can see everything's going good, okay. But I always tell people when we're calm, I say, can I come into your work and just start talking to you? No, man, I'm on the job. Okay. Same damn thing. Same damn thing.
So I watched in Arizona this year. You went down there in January.
Yep. Yuma.
Yep. And you got to see John Schneider.
Yep.
Okay. You and I grew up in that era when they were big on TV.
Yep.
How cool was that thing he did for the national anthem down there that day? Was that not one of the coolest things you've ever experienced?
He is, the Dukes of Hazzard, John Schneider, Bo Duke.
Yep.
He is the real deal. It's funny. Before, I guess it was December, because we went to Yuma January 4th, 5th. Uh-huh. But me and my wife were laid up in bed watching the Hallmark Channel. And there was old Bo Duke, John Schneider, him and Reba McEntire. Hell of a good movie on the Hallmark Channel. Just a good Christmas movie.
Yep.
And I got to know John down in I ran Boyd Speedway in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Then I seen him all the way on the other side of the United States. But he is the real deal, buddy. He loves America. he explains that national anthem. Oh, say, can you? And he explains every meaning of the national anthem. He is, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it's real. He's a patriot.
Yes.
He's a true Republican. He believes in America. He believes in if you work, you get paid. He is the real deal. And you're right. He is a badass. And he's nice, super nice.
He tells stories like, and I know you did it, Red Sovine back with Phantom 309, those stories and stuff like that. When you hear him, it's just, he was pretty awesome. And I know you wanted to cut short, so we got 41 minutes in here. If you want to call it a night right here, I'd love to have you back on when we have a couple of hours, because I got lots of stuff. Well, we didn't even touch on some of the things we talked about off air.
Right. Well, we can end it whenever you want, but listen, I'll be happy to come back. Okay. I didn't know, but now I know, Roy. You're fun. You're knowledgeable. You're good at what you do, and I kind of carved out an hour, and I thought, ain't no way anybody gonna keep me an hour. But I had no idea.
So, all right. So, I know I listened to some of the podcasts. You're like, this is just some hillbilly. How's it gonna go? I get all that.
No, you're awesome. I heard you're awesome, but I didn't know that you went over an hour. So I got a buddy who owns SCP. His name's Steve Pacou. I told him that I'd be over here. I don't know, 8:30 or something like that, 9 o'clock. I don't know what time it is now, but that was him calling me about a little bit ago.
Well, tell Ward Burton, because we've talked through Facebook Messenger about coming. I want to talk. That's one I really want to talk to.
Well, I'll get you. I got his phone number. Hey, I'll leave you with this. This is funny as all get out. They said Ward, he was real quick in practice at the Darlington, Southern 500. Everybody in the garage area knew he's going to sit on the pole. Well, he had a lot of pressure on him to set quick time. NASCAR Cup Series. And he went through turns 3 and 4, coming off the corner, wide open. Car didn't stick, hit the wall. Motor got caught on fire. They said, Ward, what happened? And he said, well, the MB and a Pontiac burst into flames. And then his Elmer Fudd attitude makes him just the greatest. And he's a good man, and he's doing good things right now with nature. And well, we'll get you his phone number.
So I knew this was coming on here. Travis Hoppus. He is the promoter and the deal at Southern Oregon Speedway, one of those tracks that we stream at, and I'm there every weekend. They're putting on a big modified race. 7,000 to win, 700 to start.
Yeah. It's only about a 2-day trip for me. Fly me there.
Hey, there you go, Travis. The airport on the road. I'll even pick you up.
Hey, one thing I announced, Roy, earlier this year, I said, look, this is my last year traveling around the United States. I love racing. Mark Martin said it best. Mark Martin said, Herman, I love racing. Not every day. So
and now they're already coming in. I'll pitch in for that. Come on.
So this is my last year traveling all around the United States. Next year, we're going to really, use my personal pickup truck, a 28-foot Featherlight, and we're just going to run Schrader's Track I-55 race 15 minutes from here, and Granite's 30 minutes from here. So I'm not into that, Roy. I'm just not into it. Listen, I've traveled so much my whole life. I've stayed home a little bit, buddy. It feels good.
Now they're blowing up Kenny Wallace blight pun. Count me in. There you go. See, there you said
it. Get me out of my race time here. We'll find a date. We'll fly Brody there, and Brody Pompey, my son-in-law, who's from there, and we'll figure it out. But I kind of got a limit this year with my car. I'm like, listen, we don't go past anything 4 hours from now on, because it's just, buddy, and it's like 2.5 hours up the road. And listen, I'm the guy that drives 17 hours straight, to Volusia. And the days are over, man.
I had to tell you the funny story, everybody. When I booked you on here this weekend, I texted you Sunday morning when we were headed to Medford to the same track that we were talking about. I texted Kenny because he didn't answer my phone call because he's probably like, who the hell is this? I'm not answering that.
Probably. Everybody's getting hacked nowadays. I don't answer nothing until I see a name.
Well, I texted him and told him who I was. I said, I want to have you on there. And he goes, just right back. Said, absolutely. You want to do it this week? I said, yep, sure do.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Sorry I'm being short. I'm on my way to the racetrack and driving.
Yeah. Well, hey, Roy, have me back on. You're a load of fun, and I got a lot of stories, and I can and I'm still racing and winning, and so I'm old school, new school, but I sure do enjoy you. You're a good man, and everybody brags on you, and congratulations on all your success.
Well, thank you very much for coming on here. I appreciate it, and we'll look out down the road here and get you hopped on here.
It'd be an honor. I know that you're doing good, and honored to be on your show.
All right. Thank you, Kenny, and have a great night.
Thank you, buddy.